Never knew. Never ever. When, just so I understand, and I'm going to let this play out with you guys all the way, and Philly's going to come in the room with you. What's the name of the woman again?
Babushka.
Barbushka. Barbushka.
No.
What?
No, it is Babushka.
There's no bar. I heard bar.
Babushka.
Babushka. All right. Can we call her Babs?
Yes.
Babs. There we go. Babs. Where is Babs right now? Is Babs under the table?
Under your desk?
Is she next to you? Where's Babs in the room? What is she doing?
I really want you guys to understand what that word means in English. Oh man. Okay. No,
it's
she's
like
not.
Old woman.
It's like a grandma.
It's grandma. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
gross! I knew you were like that.
Babs the grandma. Okay.
Did she take her teeth out first?
Where is Babs in the
Is he
room?
getting a gummer?
She has her own nice leather pelted chair in the corner, and she's drinking vodka from our home base.
Okay. Babs in the corner, and I'll explain Babs here in a minute. And you guys walk in. Philly's just going to kind of lean against the back wall, and you guys have the floor.
Oh, hey, Balrog, I'm so glad you were concerned for my safety. Sitting here on your nice desk and all that, right?
Bruce, where have you been? I've been looking all over for you.
Oh, I'm
used
sure
those
you
big,
have.
strong arms to help me build this place.
I've been a freaky dungeon, mate, for the last, 3 days.
Crawling for rats again, I see.
No, I've been locked in there.
Oh, my goodness. Who's this behind you?
Oh, this is my only friend, apparently. This is Philly. He's the guy that got me out.
Hey, man. How's it going? It's Philly. I'm James's son. Yeah, I don't tell everybody that, but,
It's disconcerting to me. Bruce, what's been going on?
Well, I'm in prison for reasons I don't even know. And this guy got me out, and I promised I'd get him laid for a few times, maybe more. So can you hook him up with one of your ladies for me so we can talk?
So you offered my services for free to get yourself out of jail for your own purposes.
Well, first of all, we're friends, and I saved your life 100 times. So yeah.
Oh, you saved my life. You saved my life, Bruce. You're like small child. Babushka, please leave room.
Babushka gets her cane and slowly stands up with her hobbled back, and she's got a shawl on. Her red scaled skin and long horns with her Dragonborn self, but she does not have a tail like Balrog. She begins to move the cane and hobble towards the door, and before she gets to the door, she just kind of looks back at Balrog, nods the head and licks her lips a little bit, and then moves on out the door.
Babushka.
Balrog, you do know the idea of running a brothel is to have attractive people here to have sex with, right?
Don't tell me how to run my business. We've been over this multiple times.
Philly,
can you please?
Philly gets near Bruce's back because he's been sitting on the back wall. Puts his hand on his shoulder and pops his head around. He goes, "Hey, just wanted to butt in here. Do you got Cyclops? Kinda was hoping."
Yes, her name is Berta. She is in top room, far side.
Fantastic, Berta. So do I just leave to go? What do I?
Yes, you could go.
Bruce, you did not speak for me.
I'm going to speak to you in a minute.
Hey, I appreciate what you're doing. Balrog, nice to meet you again. Name's Philly.
Let's be clear, Philly. Let's be clear. Oh. This is a one-time occurrence, okay?
Oh, of course.
And it's honestly 3 for 1 right now because he's quite large. So, with this being said, enjoy your hour. Be back in my office after you've finished.
An hour. That is much longer than I was expecting. I'll be back here in 7.5 minutes. Thank you so much, Balrog. Brucey, it's been a good knowing you. Thanks for this.
No, you're welcome. Thanks for getting me out. I appreciate it.
Philly goes
Can
to the
I
door.
ask a question?
Hold on a second. We will. Philly goes to the door and leans back and goes, right or left door? And what's the number? Where do I get? He's super excited.
It's left door.
Left door. Thank you. And he just skips down left door. You hear a wild knocking. Berta, is that you? And you hear this roar, and then he opens the door. And that he goes right in.
Shit.
So they'll be back. Steve,
Right.
what's your question?
I just are all of the
The ladies of the
everyone who
night.
works in this brothel an
All
old
bees.
woman?
We'll call them Coruscants.
Berta.
Because we had Babs and now we have Berta. And
Berta and Babs.
He said, Steve,
all-
he said C Squad, okay? What am I supposed to do? I can't, what am I going to throw a cinnamon in there? No, she's A-listers.
No, but that's the thing. That's what's great is this is a popular brothel, is my understanding. So
Probably the
everybody
only
in this
brothel.
town is just wild about grandmas.
Oh, well, this town doesn't have a lot of selection, so when you have a cinnamon, it brings in people from other countries. You know, like,
Shit.
okay, great. So you hear the walls begin to shake a little bit as a ogre mass begins to bang against multiple walls. You hear goat noises through the wall. Unfortunately, your left wall does share with the Berta room.
I figured as much.
And you have these great little knickknacks on a shelf. One is depicting a elephant, another one depicting a small tiger, another one depicting a fish jumping out of water. They're all made out of glass, and you love these little knickknacks, and they slowly start, with every shake of the wall, slide to the edge, and unfortunately you hear a crash, 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 and all three of your knickknacks shatter on the floor as Bertha is banging Philly to the moon.
Okay.
So, as Bertha's banging this out, Steve, you and James arrive at the front door.
Oh, great.
Oh boy.
Real quick, can I hide first?
You would not know.
Dig it.
Okay, so we're standing at the front door.
Yep.
Okay. I am gonna cast message to Balrog
Okay.
and let him know that I am here with Mr. Girth.
To your knowledge, Bruce is in prison.
Right.
So you're sending this message to Balrog.
Yes, just to give him a heads up that I'm coming in with the
okay.
leader of the party.
Okay. You cast message, and in 160 characters, what do you tell Balrog?
I forgot messages like Sweetling. Just here with Girth. Stop.
Stop fucking old woman.
I don't know what you're doing in there, but stop.
Okay, all right. Be serious. What you said? Here with Girth. What else?
Just I don't know. Just
You have
we're
to say
coming
the
in.
words that are coming out of your mouth to him.
About Girth.
Okay.
Here with Girth.
Hide anything sketchy, I guess.
Hide anything sketchy.
Yeah.
Okay. So you send this message, and Balrog, you hear all of a sudden, while the door begins to creak back open, and the sound of cracking muscles and back spasms as Babs walks slowly back into the room to take her seat, her throne. You hear, "Here with Girth." Hide anything sketchy. From a familiar Steve voice that you have not heard in months, as far as like in your head. What do you do with that? Only that information. Here with Girth.
Is it Steve? Is it Bruce? Shut up! I'm trying to. Is it Steve?
If I could give you the
So-
finger, I would.
Jesus.
You get to respond, and the words that come out of your mouth as soon as the message ends, that is what's sent back up to 160 characters back to Steve. So what exactly do you want to say in response? Because whether or not you realize it, that's what's sent.
Stall him here with Bruce.
Okay. Steve, that's what you hear.
Okay.
James starts to walk up to the opening doors that sway back and forth.
All right. Hey, James, I just got word from the proprietor of this establishment. They're cleaning out the rooms right now, and it's just gross in there.
I guess I don't really understand why they'd be cleaning. I mean, this is supposed to be a day before they open. This is very, very poorly ran.
It's the day before the grand opening.
Can we not go inside? What's the deal?
So we could, theoretically, but I would highly recommend against it.
I mean, I grew up in the South Bronx, so I know a little bit of the dirt. All right.
No, this is not a little bit of dirt. This is the walls are coated in old lady.
It's a Jackson Pollock painting.
Yeah, it's not.
If you
what
were
he said.
If you were to explain in the amount of secretions, could you fill a gallon? Maybe 2 gallon. Anything over a gallon, I can't take anymore. That's disgusting.
It's like a 5-gallon bucket.
5
Somebody
gallons.
just pitched at a wall.
Oh,
it's not good.
What kind of an establishment is this? They could at least bag it once. Come on.
Well, they had you know how it is. They had the pre-opening party and just got a little carried away. But he said we could come back later.
How was I not invited? I'm the owner of this town. How was I not invited?
No, it was
the pre-party.
It was staff only. And Balrog is just a champ.
Now, I will tell you, Steve, there has been a rumor around town. As you know, most of the people I know in this town, the rumor is the man who runs this joint, he has a grandmother.
Oh, God.
But he has been having relations with the grandmother. Some kind of crazy, weird incest thingy. I haven't met the guy, but there's a lot of people in town who've been talking about the incest grandmother. And her name starts with a C or a V. It kind of escapes me. But so I'm not 100% sure I want to meet this man. But I'm doing this for you, Steve, for your friend Bruce. If you say we need to sit outside here and enjoy a mimosa, then we will.
Yeah, we should probably just wait for a little bit.
So you guys sit on this bench that's outside the building, and the bench is located right underneath the window. You're on the first floor. You're located underneath of the Berta room, and so the outer wall is just boom, boom. Boom, boom, oh yeah, that's it. Boom, boom, boom. And James gives nudges your arm a bit and just kind of nods. I wonder if that's the grandmother. But he does hear a familiar voice. Oh yeah! Oh, that's the one. That's the spot. Oh, please! Oh! And then James looks over at you and goes, "I'm pretty sure that was my son. I know that annoying prick's voice anywhere. Philly, is that you?" That's... And he yells up, and then you hear the banging stops, and then you hear, "No, it's just Berta up here having a solo party. No Philly up here. Thank you." And then the banging slowly begins to boom, 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 get a little bit louder. And he goes, "Well, that's good enough for me." He doesn't sound anything like that. Just as dumb as bricks.
Yeah, this guy is not bright.
This guy's stupid.
So then back up to the room with Bruce and Balrog.
Bruce, you see what you have done?
What have I done?
Well, here, you have already broken 3 of my favorite trinkets. I have not seen you in quite a long time, but yet, 1, you have offered my services for free. I work hard for this establishment. Look at poor Babushka. Look how old she is.
Right. And you do you have sex with her?
Where is this coming from?
She's your main dominating lady, so I thought, usually just well, I don't know. I don't want to know.
Bruce, this is what I mean. You're like small child. Do you think that this would ever happen?
Well, I don't know what's going to happen, man. It's a freaking whorehouse, all right?
So here's what we are going to do. You are now going to go in the room with Bertha, and she is going to sit on you for 5 minutes.
Oh, God. Do you have any puke buckets so I can excel myself on?
Yeah, the puke bucket is the same as semen bucket.
Oh, God.
God.
This is a new low even for me, mate. And
well,
I had two rats
listen.
having sex on my chest.
I don't care about your kinks. Here is my concern. I have now heard message from Steve. He is saying that owner of town, who's gracious enough to give me brothel, you are now been giving me these things. We are in deep shit. So I need to conceal you. The only thing big enough in this establishment behind your gross green body is Bertha. So I need you to sit under her while I get rid of this man.
She's currently having sex with Philly. You want me to go in there and watch them do that?
I would assume you would be happy about such occasion.
No, even I have standards, mate, and that's like way below them.
You could have fooled me. You are in deep shit here. I'm not getting you out of anything here.
So right as you guys are mid-conversation, the door to your office, Balrog goes, "Arr!" and a very proud Philly walks in shirtless and these whitey-tighties on, and he puts his hands to his hips and he goes, "Gentlemen, 8 minutes. A new worst record." Just this epic stance. And he looks and points his finger to Balrog and he goes, "You're all right. I like you a lot. Thank you so very much. Bruce," he tips his non-existing hat to you. He goes, "Good luck. Maybe they won't hang you. Who knows?" And he does a stupid little bow and waves his hand in a circular motion. And he goes, "I bid you adios."
Hey, wait, before you leave, just so you know your dad's here.
And he immediately begins to run back into the room with Bertha and grabs his clothing like a ex-lover showing back up with a cheating wife and begins to scale out the window to drop onto the street. As this is happening, Steve, you hear a bunch of noise above you as Bertha has stopped anything you want to do with James outside.
No. Still stalling, I think.
Okay, I would need you to give me a perception check then.
Okay.
There's something that I want to do.
Okay. What do you got?
I want to have Bruce run into that room because he's gonna need to be in there anyway because he's gonna have to hide under Bertha. But I need him to grab Philly and get him back in my office.
Okay. So you explain this to him? RP it out.
It's Bruce, go after him. He's trying to escape.
All right. So I run after him.
Okay.
And hopefully I grab him in the hallway before he gets to the room.
So you run after him, and he's fast, and he's already in the room gathering his clothes, and he looks over the edge out the window, realizing his father is sitting on a bench right below his window. And he turns around, and you're right there. What do you want to do?
Listen, Balrog's going to help us, but we need you to follow through with his plan, all right? So I need you to go in his office. I'm going to hide in here with Bertha, and you just need to say, "Hey, Dad, I was horny." I don't know, call or something. And, yeah, that's what we're going to do, right?
So James looks over at Steve and nudges Steve, and he goes, "Hey, do I hear a third voice up there? How crazy is this? We're getting a dinner and a show. I have my mimosa. I think there's two men. You know what they say. We get wild on the frontier."
Jesus.
And so, not knowing that it's his son, obviously.
16 perception, by the way.
16. You were able to look up at the same moment, and you realize Philly, a character you are very well acquainted with, is above you, and he's the one that's been in the room this entire time. So you see that it's Philly that is up in the room, who was like halfway out the window when he saw his father, and you locked eyes with him with a 16.
Okay.
Anything you do with that, Steve? You to also increase this information, you have a dire hatred for this man, as he has been wasting the money of his father. Even though you don't like the father, James, that much, this boy is a piece of poo-poo. Just
Okay.
not good. You have had a lot of altercations with him about money spending.
Okay. I'm gonna look up at him and disapprovingly shake my head
Oh,
suddenly.
okay, yeah. James doesn't see this, so he now Philly sees you that he's been caught. Bruce, you're just trying to talk to him? Are you manhandling him?
Yeah, I'm assuming he's small like his dad, right? A little bitty dude?
No, not at all.
No, not at all.
So
How did that happen?
Well, he doesn't exactly look like his dwarf father.
Oh, okay, so he's like a half-breed.
He doesn't look dwarf at all.
Oh, he's an adopted child. All right, so Bruce is going to just be like, look, mate, can you please go back in the room, Balrog? I need to hire him, right?
So, just so you're aware, Philly is an elf.
Oh,
He is
he's an
wood
elf.
elf. And he makes his body look a bit brawnier and shorter. He's a short wood elf, but he still has the pointy ears and very nice complexion. He goes to very far lengths to make himself look grody. What is Steve's over there having a good old time with his hands? Just
Sorry. Headset adjustment.
No, you're good. You're good. I know. So you're just talking to him, right? 100%?
Right, I'm trying to convince him to go back into the office with Balrog.
Okay. Philly goes, man, I just saw Steve and my father are down below. Gotta keep your voice down. They're down below here. What's my father doing here? I can't be caught. He said he'd throw me out of the whole town. I can't survive out there.
Okay, well, never mind. We'll both hide here with Bertha, all right?
Who's Bertha?
Berga, whatever her name. The
Berga!
Cyclops lady.
And
The one you just had your penis in, mate.
Bertha, who is over on the bed, who is larger than the bed, who is quite large, and the whole bed is sagging down, as she is an ogre Cyclops, is laying there with these tiny little piece of claws over the parts, and she is smoking this giant stogie, and she just kind of like grunts and lets out this huge smoke inside your face as you're only a few feet from her, talking about her right there.
Oh, yeah, sorry. You're a very nice lady, I'm sure.
You can fit under the bed. Get in.
All right.
Get in there deep.
This is going to be disgusting.
So the bed, it would be normal for you to have enough room for you to get underneath, but with her weight, it's it's unbelievably tight fit for you to fit all the way under this bed.
Do you have a closet I can get in instead?
There's no closets here.
Gosh, dang it, Balrog. I didn't be a cheap bastard. All right, I'll climb underneath the freaking nasty bed. I'm assuming there's jizz and whatnot underneath there.
Roll a Constitution save for me.
Oh, man. Hold on.
And so she puts a couple of like blankets around the base to kind of like cover you up a little bit as you're crawling. You're squeegeeing yourself against the floor. And the bed is definitely making your back.
In real life, I need a Constitution because I'm going to puke.
100%. Yeah. So you both scurry under the bed, under Bertha. It was Bertha, right? Like, I just made fun of him, but it was Bertha, or was it Bertha?
It was supposed to be Bertha.
Oh, I heard Bertha.
Oh, I was right.
Yeah, well, it's Bertha now. It's canon. Sorry.
Bertha now.
Bertha.
A 17.
Okay. You kind of upchuck into your throat like as some of this viscosity liquid that reminds you of mayonnaise touches your cheek and gets in your beard.
Dude.
But you don't vomit, thankfully. But the smell is if there was a hobo's dick cheese underneath the bed, and it had gotten rotten.
Dude, I'm going to puke in real life right now.
Oh, God. Yeah, that was...
That was like way more descriptive than it needs to be.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to really paint that picture for your lungs.
I assumed as much.
So, you're underneath the bed, Balrog, as you hear the shuffling and things. Babs is over in the corner knitting and drinking vodka, and the door. Sorry. Steve, you're outside with James. Balrog, is there anything you want to do inside your office at this time?
No, I mean, yeah, me and Babushka are having our drinks. There's a nice fireplace there in my office as well, and that's kind of crackling and going.
It's very old timey, right? You've got these knickknacks and the shelving, and it's warm lighting. You have this fireplace burning. I'm sure that you start the fireplace with your own breath weapon, like you sneeze a little bit and you start it up. Things of that nature that makes it feel more homey than an establishment. And it definitely feels like a CEO's room, but a home-style room. Steve, James is getting a bit uneasy outside as... it sounds like they're done up there. Maybe reach out to your friend with your magic dazzles and see if we can go upstairs.
Yeah, that's a great idea. So I'm gonna message Balrog again.
Okay.
Are we good to come in?
I'll message back. So nice to hear from you finally. Yes, please come in.
So, you make this kind of weird little wince. Is that the magic? Can we go inside?
Yeah. We can go ahead and go in now.
He puts his hands on his hips and stands up and gives out a nice big I love a good stretch in the morning. Time to get our bestiality on. So let's go inside.
Okay.
He goes in and opens the doors, and he fist bumps the ogre at the door. Hey, how's the kids? Yeah, the kids are good. I can't remember the voice. Sorry. They just have this little sidebar conversation as you guys head towards. He asks the ogre where, and he says up the stairs. Look for the Dragonborn door. And James knocks on the door.
Yeah. Who is it?
It's James Gunn. It's not. No, you don't know who. He looks over at Steve. Hey, what's the deal here? How does he not know who I am?
He's been very wrapped up in the whole whoring business here.
Maybe he wouldn't know me by my middle name, which is Gunn. Maybe he needs to know my last name. He knocks again. He goes, "It's Mr. Girth."
Oh, Girth! Yes.
And he opens the door.
Steve, my boy, how are you?
Good, Balrog. It's so good to see you.
Yeah, you as well. Where is Dwarf? Oh, there he is. I can see him over my desk. Yeah, please come in.
I'm going to need a high chair. Do you have some books I can put on this? This chair is not meant for my kind. So if you had some books, that'd be great.
No, make yourself at home. Sit on Babushka's lap. She's been done knitting for the day anyway.
Babushka makes her way over to the chair that's in front of the desk since she was in the corner, and she just taps on her legs as if like telling a child to hop up. And James boosts up onto her lap and with his well-groomed beard strokes his mustache a little bit, like a little bit to the side. It sounds like you and me, we have a little conversation to have had.
Yeah, but first, how about drink, huh?
Oh, what do you have? What is it that you're offering me? What is this?
Vodka.
All right. Pour 3, please. Pushing 1 towards Steve as well.
Steve, you finally grown hair on chest. I'm glad you drink vodka now. Huh?
Why not?
So you pour this vodka. We all take the shot. That was pretty weak. I have to admit, I was expecting from an establishment like this, you would have a little maybe top shelf or something greater than just this well kind of vodka.
Well, I don't exactly know you, but I think before we have conversation, I've been hearing that there is rumor around town, no?
Rumor that your friend, supposed friend, is being, hung today, and that is 100% true. He is going to get hung. I believe his name is Bruce. Steve, do I have that right? Is it your friend Bruce?
Yes, Bruce.
Bruce. See, the dilemma is he has to be hung, or somebody has to be hung, and your friend Steve here, well, he's quite persistent in the fact that your buddy didn't do it.
Although I know Bruce to be getting in all kinds of trouble, I've never known him to steal, per se, so this gives us quite a predicament we find ourselves in here today.
Tell you what. To be honest, I don't really care who actually ends up on the noose. I really don't. It's one of those things where if you promise the people you have to kill somebody, you gotta kill somebody. You give me a body that at least looks like Bruce, and you share me some of not piss water that I just drank, something on the top shelf, then we can talk business.
You expect a lot for such small men.
I'm giving my hand out in hopes that you will understand I'm the reason this exists. This establishment is what I'm referring to. I am the person who gave this permission, the zone. I don't know how you got your money. I will need to figure that out at some point. And he looks over at Steve and gives him like a head nod. We will have to figure this out. But
Yeah.
I wanted a brothel. I figured it'd be good for the people. So I'm giving you a pass because, quite frankly, your friend Bruce, he was funneling money to you, and he was stealing it from my people. That's the rumor on the street.
That is large accusation to weigh against such a confusing man.
Well, I don't make the rules. I am the rules. So they said this is probably what happened. I said that makes sense. So hanging.
So you're saying he stole?
He stole at night cores. He went out and he fought and then put the cores in his bag and came back and he gave the cores to you. Is that not right?
Ah, so you're saying, I understand what you're saying. I am in same way similar. You're trying to rule with iron fist. On my homeworld, I come from very similar situation. So if someone is caught stealing, you can't allow this. Iron fist, I get it. So what if we just accused someone else of stealing?
Yeah, maybe your deadbeat son.
Although I know, Steve, you and Philly have never gotten along. He is blood, and blood is stronger than money, and I can't get rid of him. Although I wouldn't mind getting rid of him, just not with the permanente. I need to keep him alive.
Oh, let's not be hypocrites. In this room, stealing is stealing. If you're going to roll with iron fist, if he was caught stealing, what if he was in, say, a place like this, like a brothel?
Well, if you put it in a way that I might be understanding, maybe say my son was caught stealing something in your brothel? Yes? This is good. I'm glad I came up with this idea. This is a good idea.
Yes, it's very good plan. I'm so glad you came up with it.
Since I'm a man of many great ideas, I think if we may speak freely, your friend might be able to maybe change colors, or maybe my son might be able to change colors. The people see a big, large green man hang from noose. It may be a good thing.
I completely agree. Steve, what do you think?
Steve's
All right, we'll get
checking-
back.
Steve's checking his character sheet to see if that's something he can make happen.
Babushka, what do you think? You've been over quiet and cornered there. Is he quite heavy on your lap?
Babushka she is a Dragonborn, and as you can see with Balrog's mouth, Dragonborn's mouth wrap around. It's more of a snout. She takes out the largest dentures you have ever seen that wrap around from both sides of her face, all around to the front, takes them out, and saliva drips down from the large dentures, and you hear a, "Yeah, he's quite light. I like it. Yeah."
Babushka, please, we've talked about this. You're drooling all over it.
Sorry, I can't talk when these are in. They are actual shut. It's like putting in a mouth guard for her. It's perfect teeth, but she can't speak while they're in. "Oh, sorry about it." And she pops them back in.
What about I could turn your son invisible? We could say the thief was an invisible man. People would enjoy that. If we hung an invisible dude, that'd be fun to watch.
I think people have already they know all about magic. They would probably think that I'm trying to pull a fast one. It's gonna have to be pretty definitive. They see a large green man come out of the jail cell. The large green man gets hung. We say Bruce is dead. Long live the party. Yeah, that's what I want to happen. If you guys come up with a better plan, I need to know. I need to know this.
Isn't your son a shapeshifter?
He is not. He is quite annoying. Quite frankly, I don't see him surviving once he's outside these gates. That's why we've kept him in like child. He does.
You're starting to sound like me. Is
I'm
that vodka
sorry.
finally kicking in? Or?
I feel it. I feel the stuff. It's coming. It's coming on.
Steve, you were saying?
I'm saying I don't have a way to turn this man green.
Puts us in quite a pickle.
What if we took a large sack and put googly eyes on the sack and put on some hair and hung the sack? Do you think people would buy that?
Absolutely.
Well, like you said, you don't make rules, you are the rules. So if anyone has anything to say against you, you hang them as well. We can have multiple hangings in one day.
I think I have an idea. It's going to take Steve. It's going to take some of you and what you do. Magic. It's going to take some of that, but I think I don't have to kill my son, even though I want to. And but to your point, Balrog, if my son was caught stealing and it was definitive as Bruce, then I would have to kill him. I mean, it is. You say you come from a land that actually is understanding of this, and I can tell you, no one's above the law.
Yeah, on my planet, we could just say something happened because we did make rules, we were rules, and it would just happen. So, say, for example, out of wild chance that your son was already in my brothel, we could say that he stole the fake eye of Bertha, my Cyclops, and then we would hang him.
What if he confessed?
There was a lot of things to unpack there. Did you say fake eye?
Yes, Bertha is blind, but she hides it well, no?
Of a Cyclops?
Yes.
I need to meet this woman. That sounds like a fantastic thing to see. Can we meet her? Where is she at? And he gets up from off the lap a bit. Lead the way.
No, we can talk to her later. She's not going anywhere. She has hard enough time getting out of.
That's what I mean. It's this is such a great occasion. She won't even know that we're there unless she hears us. Let's just go say hi. I want to poke the bear.
It's not proper to poke bear. Trust me, I know. I've poked many a bear. let us finish situation here. Hang your son, and then we can talk to Bertha.
Well, I will say this. We can't hang my son unless it's definitive. I think the next step between all of us is we have to talk to these hunters. There is 20 minutes before this man is hung, which we haven't unpacked the fact that how the hell are you in this room? I'm sorry, that's not right. He's not in the room. If you want to save your friend, we have to come up with a solution.
All right, let me talk to Ogre outside. I tell him to go get hunters, bring them here. And then in situation.
So, if that's is that what we're doing? Steve, do you have anything before we fast forward to that?
I do actually.
Okay. What do you got?
Well, I'm gonna stand on the table. That's what I'm gonna do. God, I keep just barely nudging the thumbstick, and then just rocket up into the ceiling. Where is Philly right now?
Philly's in the room underneath the bed of Berta next to Bruce.
Okay, well that's not gonna work then. Never mind. Never mind.
Okay.
I had a thought.
All right, so you call for the ogre to go gather the two hunters. The ogre leaves. Whether or not the hunters are actually in the town, he will find out. So he leaves. James begins to talk about a possible another plan. 15 minutes pass. We've got less than 10 minutes left before the hanging occurs. Anything that you want to say since you guys have been hanging out? Anything that you want to talk to James about?
Not to him specifically, no.
So we're gonna fast forward a bit. James is going to want to go to the jail cell to see Bruce delivered to the hanging, and so he begins to say, I think it'd be a good time to go ahead and gather ourselves. Maybe have a glass of water for me. We need to start going over to Bruce to get him from the jail cell and take him to get hung. I don't see the hunters coming. He hasn't returned.
Okay.
Okay. You guys, the three of you, Balrog, is everybody going together?
Well, I'm gonna stay hidden, right, underneath the bed.
I mean, you can hear this stuff going on.
Oh,
so
okay. I was gonna ask. I was gonna ask if I can hear all this.
Yeah, you can hear it. These walls are pretty thin.
Okay.
So Steve, Balrog, is Babs coming too? Babs staying.
Babs is staying.
Babs is staying. Okay, so the three of you start heading to the jail, which is less than just a couple-minute walk from where you're located with the Red Sickle. So you guys make your way down, leave, and head on over to the jail. The three of you come up to the jail where there's two men who are panting very heavily, who have been wrestling and fighting over this for a very long time. James walks up and starts a conversation. I don't know what's going on here. Maybe a lover's quarrel, but you guys need to figure this out. We're here. It's time. Looks at his fake watch again. It's time to remove Bruce and then hang Bruce. Can you handle that? Of course, both of them are like, yeah, we got that. No problem. So they open the door and go down. The three of you stay up top. They both come back up and go, well, boss, about Bruce. I'm pretty sure he's a magician, because he's either invisible or he's not in there. Bottom line. So James gets very angry and runs down there to the cage himself and realizes that the cage is open. His son's where he puts his son every time he gets super drunk. He's gone. He asks where his son's at, and they have no clue. you gotta understand. I mean, we were wrestling, and the door was locked the entire time. That's obvious. Like, I'm the only one that has a key, so it's not any way they could get out. But they must have, like, turned into smoke or maybe rats or something. But they're not here, so it's not our fault, obviously. James pulls out a object from underneath his coat, and it has a cylindrical feature to it and a grip, and you hear a noise and says, I don't like failure, and the two of you have failed me tremendously. Pulls back a little chamber and then takes a core and puts it inside the chamber. Because of your failure, I now am forced to do something that I truly hate. And he points this contraption towards the gentleman who's been doing all the talking and pulls what seemed to be a lever on the backside. And a bright light appears out the front of this object. And the eyes of the guard go white and then flash back. And the guy immediately then goes, well, what happened? All right. Who are you? Real confused. James then puts the contraption back inside of his coat, and he turns to the two of you and goes, well, now that's taken care of, let's go find Bruce. If he's broken out with my son, then my son is equally in trouble. Maybe the case that he might need to be, hung. We could see. But I tell you what, if we find Bruce, we probably find my son. But to be fair, he does have a persuasion for Cyclops. You said you had a Cyclops? Balrog?
Yeah, I don't think so, no.
Oh. I could have sworn you did say you had a blind Cyclops. Yeah?
That sounds very odd in a brothel.
Steve, help me out here. Am I completely, have I lost my mind? I know I might be
I
getting
think
old.
you might have.
Steve, what the hell is mental with you?
I don't remember a Cyclops.
Well, if we can find a Cyclops, my son's probably trying to have sexual intercourse with that Cyclops. He's been drawing Cyclops since I can remember him very young. He has a weird obsession with it. It's Cyclops everywhere. He has little booklets, Cyclops in trees, Cyclops in mountains, Cyclops on him. It's very strange.
Let me check a new staff registry back at the brothel.
Yeah,
it's possible we might have it.
I'm gonna go with you, just in case you're gonna have the most women. I'd like to know myself. Okay, back to where we were. You're heading. The three of us, Steve, Balrog, and James, are heading back to the brothel, the Red Sickle, right?
Yeah, I would imagine Steve's there with us.
Yep.
Steve's going with.
Yep.
Okay,
Good.
So the three of you takes just a couple minutes. You guys walk back. James wants to see the the participant list of dancers.
Inventory.
And Bruce, during this time, are you staying with Philly under the bed since they left?
So I would have assumed he would have heard them leave, right?
Yeah, you guys heard him leave.
There. All right, so I not want to stay under the cum-covered bed anymore. So I'm going to get out and go look around the brothel to see if I can find an empty room to hide in instead.
Okay.
He looks like a glazed donut when he crawls out.
Yeah, I'm sure I look very disgusting.
Glaze my face with cum.
Oh, that is lovely. Okay, so
I just tell Philly, I was like, look, mate, you can stay here all you want and sleep in your own filth, but I'm going to go find somewhere else to hide, right?
So Philly's like, I'm going to follow you out, and just gets right behind you, and the two of you squeegee yourself back underneath and are covered in filth. And then, Berta just kind of pops out her eye like a bloop and starts like washing it a little bit with her own spit, obviously.
She pops it in her mouth and cleans it with her mouth.
Slushes it around a little bit and then pops her back in.
Oh, well, I'm never going to eat ever again after that.
And then the two of you go down the hall and like knock on some doors, and you hear some people in some of the rooms. So then you find an empty room. You go to 2A.
2A. Okay, sounds good.
What do you mean? What? What?
I can't believe I have empty rooms.
Well, it's not
You're
even
getting
open.
started. Yeah.
Opening
bro.
tomorrow.
What do you mean? All right.
Yeah, that is the whole thing. Is the grand opening is tomorrow for the Red Sickle. Okay, so you hide into a room. Any particular place you want to hide? There's a dresser you can hide behind.
Right, I'm going to hide behind the dresser.
Okay.
And I'm going to put Philly back underneath the bed.
Okay, so you guys hide in 2A just like that. Knuckles, Steve, Balrog, and James go back. He wants to see like your ledger about participants. Where do you go? Do you take him back to your office?
Yeah, it would be in my office.
Okay. You go back in the office, and James takes a seat. I'm guessing, Steve, you take a seat as well. Balrog, you gather some stuff? I mean, tell me what you...
Yeah. Babushka, I need to see Black Book. And she pulls it out from her little, like, shawl and her, like, little dress. She just keeps it there. She pulls it out and hands it to me.
So on this, in this black book that is secretly held right below her hump, she... The pages are a little bit moist by themselves. You know how it's just like a dampened paper. There is quite a list of names, way more names than there are rooms. You have multiple shifts of people. Is there any? He's going to see the names if you hand them over. Do you want to show him this? Are you trying to sleight of hand something? Are you trying? You see what I'm saying? Like, are you just handing it over, or are you trying to do something slick about it?
I'll hand it over.
Okay.
That's fine. It's just a ledger.
James takes the ledger, starts flipping pages, and he goes through and he's reading like descriptors of the names, the age, like general things, and he's going, all right, elf, halfling. Water Genasi. Ooh, we got a couple of rare people on this. Like, slips a couple pages. I see you have your full range that you service everyone. That's very good. Slips a couple more pages. Turns the book towards you. Line 43. Ogre. Berta. Looks like you do have one.
Ogres and Cyclops are different. She might be ogre. I still need to take inventory of the larger women.
So James, realizing he's getting a bit frustrated by getting the rope around by your statement, he looks over at Babs and go, Babs, is Berta working today? I take it that you run the people here, and that the correlation is Balrog, you run the manage of the business, and she runs the people. Am I right in the speaking?
Yes, that's correct.
Babs? And Babs looks over at you, Balrog, before speaking.
It's okay, Babushka. Go ahead. Tell him who's working today.
She pops out the giant dentures, and Berta is working today, yeah. She's in the room right next door, right next to this one. She pops them back in. And he closes the book. James closes the books and goes, great, lead the way. Let's meet her.
So we'll open the door and then go to the floor immediately to our left.
Yeah, you guys go in, and then there's a giant ogre, cyclops, blind woman cleaning her eye with very little clothing on herself, and she just kind of, hello? Who's there?
It's okay, Berta. Don't get up. We don't want to start an earthquake. Well, good. We don't want that. This small man here would like to have a few words with you.
I smell... Philly, is that you?
Oh. Whoops.
Smells like And she puts out her hand to kind of like touch the face. And, oh, sorry, you're not Philly. You smell like him, though. Who are you? Yeah, James bellows out, sticks out his chest a little bit. Name's James Girth. I run this whole town. Oh, you do? Okay. All right. Well, your son was here. Just so you know. Sorry to get you too confused. You both have a very similar smell. She breathes in real big. If you ever want to go around, you just let old Berta know. But yeah, he left about 5 minutes ago. So James looks pretty angrily over at you, realizing that he's had one pulled over his eyes that you were covering for his son. And looks at Balrog and says, I don't know the game that you're trying to play with me, but I need to find my son. If you're harboring him in this establishment, just go get him so that we can take care of all this. You have 5 minutes before we have to hang somebody.
So I will go in. I will go into 2A, and then I will call out specifically for Philly.
Sure. As you are walking out of Berta's room, you are walking. Okay, so there's doors on your right. There is a wooden handrail on your left, and this wraps around the interior of the second floor. So you got room. So you're passing by your room, and you see 2A. It's about 4 rooms in front of you, and you're walking that way, and all of a sudden you trip. And you trip face over. I mean, just horribly. It is an object that was perfect height for your ankles. You go face first, and you hear, "Watch it, master."
Petrol, my boy, where are you? I can't see you.
I can see you.
All right, but
What do you mean you can't see me? I was sleeping on floor.
I cannot see you. You are invisible.
I see me. How? What do you mean you can't see me? He's holding up his hands. I see me. You can't see me, and you feel this metal, earthish hand pushing against your face. Can you feel me?
Yeah, I can feel that, but I still can't see you. Help me to understand this.
I don't understand it myself. I wondered why no one was responding to me. You can't see me. Very interesting. And you hear it zzz, 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 as he walks, kind of brushing past you. I will wait in your room. I'm not quite sure what's happening.
All right, Petrol, just stay there like good child. We have business to take care of, but it's good to see you, huh?
It's good to see you too. I'm not sure what's happening, but I'm sure we'll figure it out. And just happily zzz, 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 into your office, and you hear kind of a motion, sound of metal and earth crunching as he takes a seat. Do you head on down to the room where Bruce is?
Yeah.
Okay, you head on down to the room. What do you say?
Philly, are you in here?
Yeah. I'm in here. And he kind of crawls out from underneath the bed.
Come with me.
Oh, my dad's not out there, is he? I mean, he's probably pretty pissed.
No,
Am I with? Sorry. Am I with Balrog or am I with?
Steve, you're with James in the room with Berta still.
Perfect.
No, Berta requested you. Come with me. She's very excited to. He puts up air quotes. See you.
He gets, as soon as you say Berta's really excited to see you, and you've passed off the fact that no, your father's not here. He's super stoked. Mind you, he's still in his whitey tighties and still covered in filth. He's like excitedly behind you, walking towards Berta's room.
All right, so we'll go into Berta's room. and then we'll go from there.
Okay. Steve, anything? You said I just wanted to check with you.
I'm waiting for Philly to get into the room.
Okay, Philly gets in the room.
Okay. I cast Dominate Person with Subtle Spell on Philly.
Okay. Oh, scheisse.
It's like, wow, you've been running away.
Sorry, this is one of the weird things. When I change tabs, it freaks out.
It's going to be DC 15 Wisdom saving throw.
Okay, well, the good news is, let me roll this d20. 14! 14! 14! You have dominated person. This poor man.
Awesome. Real quick, let me mark a couple things off here. I gotta mark sorcery points, but okay, cool.
What would you like to do with dominate person?
I am going to command him telepathically to confess to breaking Bruce out of prison and stealing cores when no one was looking.
Okay, so dominate person works in such a way that, for those who don't know, that, and especially for this world, that they have complete control. And because you did it with subtlety spell, Sorcerer, you've been able to cast this in front of James.
Yep.
And he has no clue that this has happened. And as soon as poor Philly comes around covered in the juices in a whitey tighties, he kind of like excited look expression, and then it just kind of goes blank stare for like a half a second, and James goes out to shake his hand or like hug him, but then he realizes he's covered and he backs away, and he's dominated for a second, and then you convey this information telepathically and instantly to him, and he immediately looks over to his father and goes, Dad, I gotta really, I gotta tell you this. Well, I don't know how to say it, but you know, Bruce, he's a sexy man, and he looks over at Bruce. You're not in the room, right? You didn't.
No,
know
I'm hiding behind the wardrobe still.
He goes, Bruce is a very, very sexually empowered man, and I couldn't not help him. And under his beguilement, I had to break him out, and so I broke him out in the promise of sex. And well, he promised me, but then he took me here, and I got I got in it with the Berta, as you know, I love it, but the bigger issue here is I want to tell you, it's not Bruce's fault. He's not been stealing. I've been stealing. I've made my way into Steve's secret stash, and I've been stealing, and then I've been giving them to Knuckles and Balrog, and I wanted this to happen so bad that I had to make sure that Cyclops would be here. And I needed it in my life, and I knew I wasn't going to get it any other way, so I made it all happen. Is this okay with you, Steve?
Yeah, this is perfect.
Okay. Because this is dominate person. This is your words. Do you want him to say secret stash? Because I'm just saying, I'm thinking it was in your mind. Do you want him to say that, or you want him to say he's been stealing from the hunters?
No, let's say he's been stealing from the hunters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Retcon, I've been stealing it from the hunters every time they come back. Right before it goes and gets counted, I've been siphoning and then giving it to Balrog. But Balrog didn't know, and I wanted to do something right by the town, and I needed it to happen. And I needed the Cyclops encounter to happen, so I did this. James just completely floored. Just kind of straightens his back a little bit, puffs out his chest, and he calls out for the ogre that's downstairs, but the ogre is not there as he is still looking for the hunters. And he looks over at Balrog and says, with a heavy heart, do you have some green paint?
Well, I was planning on saving this for a grand opening, but yeah, I can get some from back storage room.
And he looks over at Steve and he goes, would you help me, unfortunately, kill my idiot son, as he has done the wrong of a family? And he slaps Philly across the face.
I telepathically tell Philly to say that he's a bad little boy.
Steve looks at his dad crying from being slapped and says, I'm a bad little boy.
Good
Philly,
enough for me,
though, right? Not me.
Yep.
Oh,
That just happened.
All right.
Dominate
Beautiful.
person, how long does it last for?
Let me check. I think it's a minute
A
concentration.
minute, okay. Yeah, as long as you don't take damage, you're fine. So he turns his son around. He doesn't put a robe on. He's still in whitey-tighties. And he binds his hands with some furry cuffs that Berta has in her room, obviously, and starts to lead him out and down into the lobby. Balrog, do you bring the paint?
Yep. Oh, please tell me we're gonna paint this dude in the middle of the town.
No, in your establishment.
No.
So he looks over and he goes, if we could just, cover him from head to toe, we need some more hair and put on some rags that looked kind of similar to Bruce on him. We've got 2 minutes. What do you do?
I also have carrots. We can paint them white and put them on his 2 teeth and make him look like he has tusks.
All right. Quick second. Hold.
Oh gosh.
Oh. Oh.
He took his headset off.
His hand just went up.
Yeah, I saw that. Are you guys really going to let him kill this kid?
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Oh,
Okay.
absolutely. It's either him or you. So
I guess that's fair.
you're getting in all kinds of mischief. Constantly saving you.
Really? Because I haven't done anything wrong. In fact, when I was in the woods, I was actually meditating. Laugh all you want, but it's the truth.
On what?
You'll see. I can't spoil the surprise.
Oh. Oh.
Ooh.
It should be good now. The cameras were frozen because the second PC, went to sleep. Thank you, Cheese.
Good looking cheese. Cheesy.
All right.
Easy cheesy.
Cheese. So, catch back up. James asked you, is there anything else you could do? Do you bring the paint out?
Yeah, I bring the paint out. I bring the carrots out, because I was going to use them for Oscar, but, he's waiting outside. So we paint those white to give him the tusks, and we're getting ready to start painting.
Yeah, so, you still have Dominate Person, so it's up to you if he struggles. For a minute. Does he struggle, Steve?
No, I think he's accepting his fate.
He's excited to play dress up, and he's painting himself, just gobs his hands into the green paint and smushing it all over, and he takes some hair from one of the rooms and puts it all over his chin with some glue, puts the little white tusks in his mouth, and puts on a kind of robe, and he looks real dirty. It's not nearly as big as Bruce by any means. But sorry, give me 2 seconds as well. I need to fix that just so it's not in. I'm looking for this mouse secretly. Okay, I think that's good. So he paints himself, and then Dominate Person fades. And he's looking at himself like, "Hey, why am I covered in green? What's going on here?" Do you guys want to talk to him?
I'm gonna walk up to him and say, "Silence, thief," and I'm gonna give him a good backhand across the face.
Oh,
Wow.
very nice. Very confused, he looks over at his father, James, and James also walks up to him, and "You were never my son," he whispers into his ear.
And then...
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Ruin my perfect moment? That's fine. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding.
I was just gonna say that I was gonna have the staff gather around and start chanting shame.
So as you are pulling him out of this area and he's struggling, all of the women and patrons and participants of this wonderful establishment are all yelling in one accord, "Shame, shame, 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 shame." And realizing he's been had, he struggles, but this is breaking his soul. And so you guys tote him off to the hangery. That's what we're going to call it.
The hangery?
The hangery.
Right by the carvery.
Yeah. And you start taking up the stairs, and with a loud, booming voice, James yells out to a crowd that starts to gather as the town hall's clock begins to ring noon, and everyone knows that the hanging is about to commence. And so they put him up top on the top platform where there is a lever for the hidden door, and they put a bag over his head, and so you have this large green body there that is his son, and James rings out a phenomenal speech, which I will butcher, I'm sure, from memory. Trying to remember how I started it. Sorry, I don't have it written. I just thought of it the other day. He stands out in front, and a nice silence comes over the crowd, and he says, "Steal from the family, and you will be put to death. Steal from the party, and you'll be put to death. Steal from me, and I will kill you myself. We are as strong as our weakest link, and today we get rid of our weakest link. So, together, stand with me and cheer as we expel the giant man on the table. as we expel the weakest part of our society. The party exists so that we can all survive. We take care of you. Never do wrong by the party, and you will always have food." And he leans over to his son, who has a bag over his head, who is sobbing, and says, "Your mother would never have been prouder that her offspring would steal from her own family and get himself killed and bring shame to the name, Girth." And with that, looks over at the small man, very, very small man, so small that it takes two of them, which are halflings, at the lever, who are jumping up and down to try to activate it, but are not heavy enough to activate, who he then goes over and pushes the two halflings away and says, "I will do it myself," and pulls the lever, with the door falling and the sound of a snapped neck. Today, that is how we end episode 1.
Damn.
Woo!
Woo!
Whew.
Next
Boys.
time on Saving Arcana.
So, there's a lot to unpack from this episode. I hope you guys had a great time. This is the first time it's semi-worked in VR. Being able to see you guys makes so much of a difference. And I really appreciate my players taking the time on their Saturday to come here, play, hang out. Thank you so very much, Balrog, Steve, and Bruce. My hat's off to you. Thank you. That's the best way right there. A glass to. Nope! I just hit my screen. I just destroyed my screen. Well, let's do this one. Cheers to all of you. Thank you so very much. I appreciate it. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you for all the viewers, the listeners. Thank you guys on Twitch. Appreciate you so very much. Thank you. And I would love, for a quick second, I would love to move over here and have a quick moment on the camera with you guys. Come over here and stand with me real fast. And look at Camo 1. Obviously this is not the final character for me. Balrog, go to my left.
You're on the table, Balrog.
There you go. Well, I couldn't tell where you are. There's Steve's left. All right, everybody is good. Thank you so very much. I'm just looking at the main camera. I appreciate you guys wholeheartedly. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. Have a good time. I'll see you guys. Episode 2, Saving Arcana. Don't forget, this is just as much of a stream as it is yours. Stream? I meant to say story, but stream came out. Love you all. We'll see you next time. Have a good one. Bye, y'all.